What's up, guys? Welcome to Dynamicom TV, where we publish news and politics, entertainment, celebrities, and metro stories. We have another trending news for you today, and the headline here is Biafra, IPOP leader kicks against alleged fresh loans requested from IMF, World Bank, and AFDB. Alright, guys, please, before I go ahead to read today's news to you, if this is your first time you are watching on our channel, please there is a red subscribe button below this video. Just go ahead, hit that red subscribe button and then click on the bell icon beside it so as to be the first to be notified whenever we publish news in the future on this channel without you missing any news again. Now the news in details. The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, yesterday kicked against further lending by foreign lenders to the Nigerian government, saying it breached the organic law of Nigeria in question. The Biafra leader warned international financial institutions that any foreign loan obtained in breach of the organic law of Nigeria will provoke a political stroke legal backlash that could complicate its repayment. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in a letter he personally signed and sent to European Union State Department, African Union, International Monetary Fund, and World Bank, titled "Foreign Lenders Must Stop Lending Money to Nigeria," made available to newsmen by IPOB Media and Publicity Secretary Mr. Emma Poafo, alleged that Nigerian loan request was not only complex by accident but by design and deception. The IPOB leader recalled that his group was on the front line of rallying a grand wave of opposition to the loan because of its purpose and its expenditure plan that excluded the southeast part of Nigeria in flagrant breach of Nigerian constitution. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's statement read, "Just before the COVID-19 pandemic struck, Nigeria was on the verge of taking a loan of almost $33 billion from a complex mix of foreign lenders led by China. It was not complex by accident but by design and deception," he said. Nigerian rulers wanted the loan to be more acceptable to gullible Nigerians by tagging along respected international financial institutions like International Monetary Fund, IMF, and African Development Bank, AFDB, to a harmonious China's loan that carried all the usual elements of corruption and fraud that have many wise nations wary of China's loan. In addition, it is noteworthy that the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, was on the front line of rallying a grand wave of opposition to the loan, especially because of its purpose expenditure plan that excluded the southeast part of Nigeria in flagrant breach of Nigeria's constitution. We were concerned that any foreign loan obtained in breach of the organic law of Nigeria will provoke a political stroke legal backlash that will complicate its repayments. Kanu alleged that Nigeria was still keen in taking the suspended loan, but the COVID-19 pandemic is temporarily diverting the attention of the world, including China, adding that there is a credible report that Nigeria wants to take another loan from IMF and AFDB. He said this is after the $2.2 billion borrowed from the World Bank in February this year, which it claimed was for immunization and job creation, when in fact the money was not for the purposes. We also gathered that the cabal ruling Nigeria wants to borrow another $3.4 billion from IMF and $2.5 billion from the World Bank and $1 billion from African Development Bank respectively. These loans should not be granted because the previous loans were grossly not utilized, was looted and spent in a manner that breached the Nigerian constitutional provision on revenue allocation between the central and state governments on the one hand, and the geopolitical regions of Nigeria on the other hand. We are reliably informed that Nigeria handlers are in another deception by falsely claiming that the new loans will be used to fight COVID-19 and to assist the poor and small businesses in Nigeria. Who takes loans to fight COVID-19 was the question. In the whole of Africa, mention one or two countries that have taken loan from its government to fight COVID-19, which is coronavirus. You do not need loans. You do not need loans to fight a pandemic. You instead need aid and global goodwill, and that is what all countries in need have relied on throughout history. Nigerian history is another issue at hand at the moment, using the pandemic COVID-19 to allegedly borrow money that they will loot to their own pocket. Nigerians are crying. There is all laws being set aside to sit at home, and there is no provision made for the people that are being sitting at home. Nnamdi Kanu has voiced out angrily, saying that he has wrote a letter to the IMF and AFDP and the World Bank not to again borrow money to Nigerian government because they will loot it for their own purposes and not for the means of the people. All right, guys, please, before you go, this is a very good article being experimented by our able leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He urged all people not to allow this government of Buhari administration to bring in another loan that will not be repaid before their tenure. This is an evil act by the government. He said that the borrowing money in the case of pandemic coronavirus is not the organic law of Nigeria, which will provoke a political and legal backlash. And we know that the government of Nigeria at present is trying to do all things possible to make sure the borrowed money in the case of this pandemic coronavirus to lavish and loot the government down. No other country in Africa has issued out on borrowing concerning this COVID-19. Please, guys, we want to know what you think concerning this money Nigeria are borrowing. It is in billions of dollars. They are asking the World Bank and the IMF to borrow them. Nnamdi Kanu is lashing out to the government and to the World Bank and to the IMF not to sign the borrowing of a lot of money by the government of Nigeria. Please do not forget to drop your comments and let us know what you think. It is very important that you share your own view on this point. Meanwhile, do not forget also to hit on the red subscribe button below this video and then click on the bell icon besides it so as to be the first to be notified whenever we publish news in the future on this channel, Dynamicom TV, without you missing any news again. Thank you and welcome.